Hey there, Pisces. This is Joy with Joy of the World, here to take an intuitive peek into the second half of April for you guys and see what is going on. Now, I can tell you that there's a bit of courage required. There's some things going on that, well, you're feeling and perceiving that you cannot see. Now, Sandalphon energy is wanting to show up, and you might also want to take a look at the Aquarius read, because no matter how much I tried to put the card away, it has fallen back out irregardless. This is Tiger's Eye showing up. It's talking about things going a little too fast for comfort, also dealing with some addictions, and whether you've had to deal with addictions or whether you dealt with someone who has. And addictions could be anything from shopping to gluttony to gossip to drugs and alcohol. There's a variety of things, and there's one side of the system which is the one participating in the said activities, and then there's the other side of the system of those that have had to be in interaction with loved ones who have and or are. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and file that away now so that we can begin to make a move and get into some of the silver lining of what is going on here. The Muscovite mica is showing up to be able to take what was once your ashes and become your beauty, what which was once your burden, and allow it to move forward into your blessing. Okay, friend, and just know I'm here for you, and my heart is for you. All these videos come forth not so that I can be some great YouTube superstar. This isn't about joy to the world. I'm just the microphone. It's about your joy, my joy, all of our joy coming forward, even those who are suffering or struggling right now. So these are energy channels. I'll let you know. And you were telling me that that is definitely what you need. You're needing to turn the tide. There's a shock block. That's a chakra block card coming on the perspective of bad news, old news, those type of things, of the way things have always worked out. And I know for many of you that's not a strong generalization or an exaggerance. It's something that has been a lifetime or a lifestyle. Even having a dear friend that struggled with parents that were alcoholics, and then marrying people that were also into alcohol, that it didn't show at the beginning, but it keeps transitioning and becoming that. And it's like almost feeling targeted, like, what is wrong with me? What have I done? How can I fix this? And adjusting and changing and losing so much of the sense of who you are at your centrality and at your core. That's what I love, that the shock block is showing up to show the fascination and the beauty of who you are, and that there is a bigger picture going on here, and to begin to trust, relax, and allow. So remember, the thing that this second half of April is about letting nature take its course. It's going to be going kind of fast, so it's trying to get medley or get our hands in or think we know where it's going when old energies are passing out can cause us to like herky jerk going along in that type of fashion. And not that it's not only unattractive, it's counterproductive. All right, friend. So what I do love is the energy cards that are trying to come in for you, that we are arriving now, is bookends, and it's all matters of the heart, rising up from the heart, from the grief, from the sorrows, into the newness of life. So going from adventuring in peridot, so there could have been some loss of money, loss of income, maybe even not ever being able to exalt your earning potential because of such disillusioned energies, such volatility, other things that took precedence, that type of thing. So there's been some repression going on, which right now could really have felt to have maxed out, because where Sagittarius and Gemini, the North Node and South Node, are going, has been bending more towards of it just being local travel, local satisfaction, finding a way to be happy in the mundane, in the dailies, and that type of thing. And so nature taking its course is also a suggestion and an unction to get us out of doors, which you can see why I'm filming it like this today. I had no idea that that was going to be the theme, the message, the driving force, which is coming from planetary actions going on right now. So when we focus on that, we're getting in alignment with them and allowing them to facilitate their love, their strength, their encouragement, and their power to help us in our humanity, to be able to be restored to the fullness and the fascination of who we are in our charts. No longer seesawing and hem-hawing and moving about and being manipulated by old energies, old adages, old attitudes, old addictions, that habits, proclivities, that type of thing. Being able to really express a fresh and a new. And anytime you get new branches, just like if you've ever grown fruit-bearing objects, fruit-bearing trees, perennial bushes for flowers and things like that, if you've had a hummingbird or a butterfly garden, when you prune them back and you prune back the old wood at the proper time, it allows this new growth and this profusion of blossoms to come about, which attracts more potentiality, the pollinators, and thus more fruiting. Okay, so in the center, that is the rainbow, the whole essence of life coming on in, not just in piece, not just in part, but as we know, the whole. Which you're at the right place, friend, because if you haven't been here before, I believe we are the whole zodiac, the whole chart. We are the wheel of fortune. That is our golden self, being able to step into the truth of who you are, that you are all, you are perfect, and you are plenty. And we want to celebrate you for that and the color of love that you have brought to our planet to share with us. Thank you for showing up here, friend. Now, let's get into it. We have the New Era, ERA, Tarot showing up, which is wild because, y'all, I knew nothing about any of this. I would just know here and speak out of my head, and they're like, start using cards, start understanding this, and I'm like, what? And so now we have this channel, right? I always knew I was here to bring joy to the world, that was going to be my thrust and my message, to share the love. I never knew it was going to be on a screen. So anyways, we have this thing coming on in. So there's repletion. There's this need in the restoration of relationships and trust. This relationship that's needing to be restored is trusting yourself, trusting your gut instincts, trusting the body speak, the body talk. So that means doing away with benefit of the doubt, doing away with holding out, doing away with putting off, doing away with suppressing and downplaying feelings, okay? Those aren't emotions. Emotions are when feelings aren't addressed or processed at the time that they occur. We put them off to another day in another way. Then they become these altered cocktails because they're being bent by time and space and new planetary layers going on that they can get heightened and taken out of context, also altering the perspective, having volatility, that type of thing. So we're named again to the restoration of trusting oneself, that you are plenty, that you know who you are, and that your happiness matters and counts. Okay, life doesn't want to leave you gobsmacked in the negative way with your mouth hanging open, agape, catching flies, wondering what the hell just happened. All right, friend, we're just going to say it plain like that. And we got this little judgment coming on in. Now let me tell you, fractured and fragment is simply that perspective. There is nothing wrong with you. There's something wrong with the mirror. There's something wrong with what you subject sharing your heart with. And I'm talking the heart of hearts, those deep things. You might want to go back and check out the Capricorn read, okay? Because that's being brought up here as a topic and a subject for you, friend. But being able to get into balanced relationships, healthy relationships and connections. Now, mind you, as relationship is anything that you connect with, all right? Be careful where you connect, because in that connection, not only are you receiving from that two-way street, that's what a relationship is. It is a two-way street. It is an interconnectedness, but you're also being receptive to those energies. It's not just what you're putting out, but it's also what you're receiving as well. All right, so be aware of the body talk, the body speak, and trust your gut, trust your instincts. That's what the Aries season has moved us through and moved us into. Now, Mars is with us for a while. I would say Mars really is an undergirding major player for this whole year, this whole calendaric year, which really kicked off a couple of weeks ago, okay? That's when we started the lunar new year, was with the Aries new moon. So now we have all this volatility and this quick moving action going through, and I can tell you, if you'll put your seatbelt on and allow nature to take its course, you will be brought through on an amazing journey to witness almost like these scenes moving past so quickly that it's beneficial in that the oohs may not last so long, the oohs and ahs, but also okay, so it's allowing you to get a bit of a glimpse of what's going on. But I'd also recommend here, like I did to another friend at the channel, is that if you back up to videos from about 6-7 months ago at the channel, they're all timeless. Those will have strong clarities and clues in them that are relevant to this moment. I call it the Big Dipper effect. So enough of that. That brings in the Empress. All right, knowing that irregardless of what this time is bringing about, that you have all you need to provide for your future. Because do not despise small beginnings is what I would say here, friend. There is an open door for you. It is into the unknown, even though it is something so very familiar. Take that newness of heart, let that childlike wonder awaken, and begin to go out to look for what is going on in nature. Because if you're in the northern hemisphere, it's springing up right now. If you're not and you're in the southern hemisphere, it's beginning to change colors and downshift. Both of these are the shift points where the newness and the old begin to pass. Okay, so if you're in the southern, when the leaves begin to fall, right? The colors are changing, and it awakens this spark and this hearth and home type energy to awaken into nurturing and that type of energy. Well, if you're here in the northern hemisphere, it's waking up more of the adventuring type energy going on. Okay, southern hemisphere, northern hemisphere, and it's all good around here because we've all moved through that. And irregardless of who you are, you can back up to those videos and find some support there for you. Remember, we are the whole zodiac. That's what the Empress is all about, nurturing and nourishing your whole self. All right, you nurture the future and you heal the past, and you process the past by being in the present, being in this moment, because life is ever speaking in present terms. Ask the leaf, ask the flower, ask the bird that flies, ask the sun that rises and sets every day. It is always rising somewhere and is moving on your behalf. That brings in the Eight of Pentacles showing up as the adjustment. Libra's coming in again, okay, friend? So it could be the Libra tuning back to that many months ago, but also weaving in, coming into the forward motion, setting into, okay, they're talking about the opposition, and it's not opposing, the complementary energy. So the spring is looking forward to the fall. Now, if you checked out the full moon reading, you might get to know that here at the full moon, I begin to look through and look towards the new. I'm not here just trying to, you know, bring all that in. I'm already creating the next. You know, as I'm driving my car, I'm not looking straight down. I'm looking ahead because the road is underneath my feet. Does that make sense? So that's the energy that's coming in now. Is as you do this, the winds of change are here. What may seem to be leaving and going away is actually returning to you. There is a rhythm to this, and life was speaking in Capricorn that life votes for life, not about death and endings. Things just tend to pass out of the view for a moment in order to return, because when you go on a trip and a journey, the start line and the finish line are the same. Any race you've ever run, the starting line and the finish line are the same. It's just which way are you approaching it, okay? So know you're making a full loop and a full circle here, Pisces, which I absolutely love for you because that is your symbol. Some of you might also want to check out Cancer, same thing, all right, once I get these posted. So what you were letting me know is that you need to splurge a little, Pisces, and that means to allow the courage to be spent, to be able to move forth, to put a little bit of trust out, some elbow grease into that trust. And I don't mean laying in physically, I mean changing your mind. Okay, that when these old images or these old triggers begin to flare up and the reel of the mind starts to play a movie, stop it. Just stop it there and take a deep breath. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Do it 3 nice good breaths, and that provides a pause and a moment for transition to occur. And then listen to your gut, listen to your instinct, listen to your truth, and trust yourself, my friend. Okay, let me check my time. 13 on the dot, y'all. Talk about some divine intervention. Talk about some life going above and beyond all you could think or imagine. And that's interesting because when I was doing the preliminary for you guys, I'm looking at my notes if you're wondering, it says you're used to things taking you over and being more work than worth. It's like the barnacles showing up, like owning the boat is just more about the upkeep and the taxes and the housing and the energy and all that, and it seems to fall really heavily on you. So it lets me know you have a lot of care and compassion in your heart. If this is ringing true for you and circling around, check out the Cancer read, either the previous one from the first half or coming into the second half of April. All right, so you cried out at that point and you said, help me change my mind, help me change my unbelief, help me transition and begin to let my wheels move forward and gain traction, and not just continue to spin and bury myself and suppress my whole self to where I feel like I'm drowning, where I'm grappling with the world, where I'm gasping for air mentally, physically, and spiritually. Okay, so our affirmation for this is going to be, I choose to see life anew. I choose to see life anew. And that's what this shock block was talking about. To see the fascination of who you are, to see that it's all planned out, that it's all coming together, that you're not privy to all the details, because there's part of that your destiny is carrying, your divine self, when you craft and create yourself, to look down on your chart, to bring in these changes and these challenges to stimulate, to evoke, and to awake these certain energies around you. Okay, now with that, that's interesting. Father of Fire is face down. So some of you have been suppressing your passion, your self-expression, all right, for fear of what others might think. Celebrate your soul. All right? If it brings you life, don't focus on that. Just if it brings you life, focus on that. Focus on that and appreciate that. Okay, in a sense, they're kind of saying don't count the cost. It's like this gentleman, you know, here he's all hip and whatever, but you know, wanting to kind of hide the wrinkles, the age, the weariness, the taxation, the price paid, that type of thing. They're not wanting you to hide that. The unlovelies, you know, it's nice to take an account of what all it has cost you to continue to celebrate and to nurture and to nourish who you truly are at the core. Okay, friend? And that brings in a sense of stability, deep, deep roots. Because see, these lines, these creeps, like these babies, okay, they have cost me a pretty penny. This channel has been being formed for 47 years, all right? And we're talking about digging in deep. And that's just like the tree showing up here. These roots, they're all above the earth, and they may show, there may be scars, there may be mars, there may be wrinkles, there may be other things that are tinged with pain, with happiness, with shadows of doubt, with all that type of thing going on. But that is also what holds you stable, okay? That is what has allowed you to flourish in an unhospitable and uninhabitable, for some of you, realm, okay? So what they're saying, that to be able to refresh and to awaken this passion is to get outdoors. That's been the big message and why we are here, because the Ace of Earth is showing up. It's saying this is your trump card. It always is. And for many of you, you might pull out your crystals is what it's showing. You might choose to charge them in the sun, no longer just trying to cleanse them when they're done. How about you evoke from them their radiance and their beauty? How about you charge them in the sun like Father Fire is doing here? How about you nourish your magic implements? How about you heat up that oven if you like to bake or cook? How about you bless yourself if you love nature? Go out and take some fresh air, some fresh breaths, not the recirculated stuff up in your house. I don't care if you open your windows or not. This skin was made to receive the vitamin D of the sun, okay? So, and for those of you who wonder, vitamin D is usually the most prevalent before about 10 a.m., before those rays get really intensified. It's when the sun is still at a really strong angle, and especially right after sunrise, when it's not radiating that same vibration at all. And it's absorbed most on the inside of the forearms and on the belly, just an FYI, okay? So let's get a little bit of Mary L on this. And I don't know who this is becoming challenging and difficult on, but it's slightly disorienting and getting hard to hear. It's almost like the channel is closing and you're feeling lost. So let me just clear that for a second. Let's say I love you. So Ace of Swords showing up here. We have another ace. Look at that belly. Nourish your belly. It's almost like the sun, the fire, the vitamin D, the passion, the baking, the cooking, the feeding your soul is what is critical here. Because as you can see, this is the eagle, all right? Your landing gear may be bound, but your wings are not bound. Time to soar, all right? Time to soar, because when you go to soar, the landing gear comes up anyway. Watch it shimmy out of there as you begin to see the delights and you begin to inspire yourself that that bondage is just gonna like disintegrate and fall away like toilet paper in rain and water. And that brings in the Nine of Cups. This is a synergy of all the energies coming together to open the cosmic mind, the cosmic door, to bring in the cosmic balance. The trusting of life again, that your courage will be rewarded. It is received, and as you put it out there, life can receive it into itself, and life can give unto your needs. That courage that you express is almost like a call and a cry for what you need for life. Just like a baby, when it cries, the mother's milk balances and produces what exactly that cry needs. Ooh, y'all, two lizards are fighting on the stick over there. Sorry. They'll flare it up like dragons. We have some big crazy looking lizards out here because I live near the beach, y'all. Man, hadn't seen that. They got the flap up on their back and everything. Okay, and let's get you a little air tank to put a little blessing on this. Well, they said just at the bottom, strike up the band and begin to celebrate. Put some music on. So they're telling me for you to add a different layer, because Neptune is at home in your sign. Then you need some shifting in your state, and shifting your state doesn't require all these excesses and addictions and eccentricities and things. It's simply heightening the experience. Like when you go to eat, okay, eagle power for whoever that is. When you begin to eat, take time to smell your food. When you chew, take time to taste it. When you put on your favorite song, listen. No, that's the raven. It's a harbinger of change. Allow the layers of your senses to merge together. Come to your senses, my friend. And there we have flower, moon blossoming. Divine creativity, exponential power, awakening here, and divining the light, that joyousness that comes forth from you when you begin to breathe, when you begin to take in, rewrites and overwrites your system. It puts the needle on the record, and it puts the groove. Like when there was a skip, they used to apply a penny or a little bit of weight that would help it move on through the skip onto the next layer, into the Fibonacci. So friend, know that I believe in you. If you haven't clicked subscribe already, click it down below. It is free as always. And also leave your comments, your compliments down below for me, yourself, whoever, and know that I love you and I believe in you.